All right, guys, for this week, what we're going to be doing is basically like 5 little mini projects, 3 to 5. I'll determine it as I go along and see how long each of these take. But for the first one, so this is the first one, what we're going to do is take this photo. Okay, so make sure I can find the right one here. I think it's in lesson 4, family photo. Here it is. And the photo has 2 layers. If you notice, the layer that's on top is the one that we're seeing. But if I press the eyeball, you can see the other one. Now, there's a reason why there's 2 of these photos here, and we're going to kind of take the best of both of them and combine them. Um, let's assume this family gave us these 2 photos to fix up, to combine as one pretty much. But they like this first one because the lighting, right? The lighting looks really good, whereas this one's a little bit darker. So they like the lighting on this one. It brings out the faces on a lot of the people more. However, on the one with the lighting, the old man's eyes are closed right here, and the 2 girls here are facing the wrong way. Whereas on this one, they're looking at the camera correctly, and the old man's faces or his eyes aren't closed. Okay, so what we're going to try to do here is try and get both these pictures to line up just right, and then combine them. Okay, so let's hope this works correctly. Now, on Photoshop, this works a little bit easier, but we're going to try and see if this will fit. Let's see. I'm going to try and see if they have the same options here as Photoshop, and if they don't, we're going to just have to try and make it do without. Okay, so layer. Let's see. I'm not seeing it. In Photoshop, what you would do here is there's an option that it would recognize the 2 photos that you have selected. See, I have both of them selected. I pressed Alt to select both of them. And what would happen is the images would then, oh, here we go, auto align. There it is. Let's see if this works. So what it's going to do is recognize that both photos are very, very similar, and it's going to try to align them so that they match with the one behind it. So let's try it. Auto align. It's going to load a little bit, and there we go. So now when I press it, there you go. See that? They're lined up a lot better. Perfect. Okay. So now that we're wanting to make the image on the back show up through the image on the front, we have the image on the front right here. What we're going to do here is zoom in, okay, to the old man's face. And this is a cool little trick here. Once you get them lined up, all you simply have to do now is get your eraser like this, and make sure when you're using your eraser that, let's see, there's some options in Photoshop like hardness. Maybe not make the hardness so big. Maybe use one like this. So here's one right here. Use that one. So that way it creates more of a blend when you erase. Because if it's too hard, you'll notice the circle and it might not look as good. So let's try this one. Okay. And there we go. We erased his eye and he's starting to look a little funny here. But if you notice, we just simply do that. It doesn't look right. His nose isn't matching up. So we need to make sure his nose matches up. We do this. He looks even more weird too with his mouth. So we're just going to kind of just get as much as we can here to make it look as good as we can without getting rid of too much. So that's pretty good, right? Grandpa looks the same. No one's going to notice. Now, you could go all out and erase his whole head here and try to match it as much as you can, but honestly, I think that doesn't look too bad. Let's see. If I wanted to, though, I'll show you. Like, we could go like this and kind of get even more of it. And just be careful not to get too much, because if you get too much, you start having to erase more and more and more to get it to line up. Okay? So there we go. Grandpa's now smiling in the picture that everyone likes. Now we just have to fix the girls. Okay. Now the girls shouldn't be too hard either, but you might have to erase a little bit more just the way their bodies are positioned. Okay. So I'm going to erase. Okay. So see what I mean? Like her head's not really matching up right here. So I'm just going to kind of get it like that. We don't want to make her head look bigger than what it really is. All right. Looks good. Looks good. I think we can get away with that right there. Okay. like I said, you don't want to do too much. You do too much and it starts creating like where you're erasing everything to get it to match. This girl here is going to be a little bit easier. She just kind of moved her head, not her whole body. So we can kind of just do her head and not have to worry much about anymore. All right. I think that looks pretty good. And that one's it. That's it for this one, guys. It's just kind of taking a picture and getting them lined up correctly. Now, what we're going to have to do here lastly, though, is merge the two images. So I'm going to make sure I highlight both of them, right-click on it, merge them. Okay, so now they're one. And then go in here with my crop tool and just make sure I get just the part of the image that I really want here. I don't want, you notice here, like on this side, it's darker than here. So we don't want to get that there. We don't want them to notice too much of a difference. Honestly, that's probably good enough. And I press enter. There's their new family photo. Okay, file, save, export as a PNG or a JPEG. Usually for photos are JPEG, PNGs are for more like sprites and things like that. Save it, turn it in. All right, guys, that one's it. I'll go on to the next one.